I set up one of these live videos. I am amazed that I figured it out. All right, what is this hair doing? Let's do something with that. We'll wait another minute and see if anybody jumps in with us. God. Honestly, the worst thing about doing everything over video these days is just how often I have to look directly into my own face. You guys know what I mean? Like, I'm just so sick of looking at myself on a screen. It's insane. But I'm fine. I'm fine. I hope you guys are fine. We will get started in just a second. We're going to be doing core and mobility work today, which I desperately need. I've been having some like really annoying back pain, and I know all the info, and I know what I'm supposed to do, and I understand the body, and I'm still having back pain. So it's just a real pain in the ass, and I understand that a lot of people probably are dealing with persistent back pain and stuff like that. So that's why we're trying to address this stuff today. Okay, cool. So we're gonna get started. Basically, what I want to do today is talk about core work and how mobility training can help with your core work. Because essentially, what mobility training is gaining neurological access to our body, so developing that mind-body connection, and then also gaining access to a greater range of motion of our joints and the surrounding tissue. So everybody wants to do like core work, and there's a million videos about like working low abs, targeting the upper abs. But here's the thing, you're never going to be able to access lower abs versus upper abs if you don't have that mind-body connection, or if you don't have access to the joints and the surrounding tissue. So we need to be able to do our mobility training so that we can access all those core muscles. So we're going to start with something really, really simple today and just talk about how to get access to the deepest of our core muscles. So come on down onto your back. Oh, actually, before I do that, go ahead and find your hip bones on your body. Find your hip bones and then walk those fingers in like an inch into your body and then an inch down. Remember this spot because we're going to feel for that in a second. So onto your back, and we'll come all the way down. Find that little spot an inch in from your hip bones and an inch down, and we're going to just try and access the muscles there. So take a deep breath, and then exhale like you're blowing through a straw. Do you feel some of those muscles start to tense up under your fingers? Let's try again. Let's try 4 more times here. And I don't want you to do any kind of like movement here. We're just trying to access these really deep muscles here. So inhale. Exhale. We should feel a little bit of activity here. If you don't, see if you can tense everything below the belly button. So think about drawing the belly button down through the spine. One more time. Good. If this feels super basic, it's because it is. This is the most basic thing, but it's also the thing that a lot of people struggle with the most. What we're activating here is our transverse abdominis and also a little bit of our pelvic floor. So these are super important deep muscles to make sure that we can access everything above it. If we can't activate the deepest layer, we can't get to those shallower layers like our rectus abdominis, which is our 6-pack muscles. So let's try a couple more of those, but I want you to activate a little bit more now. So you're going to inhale, and then as you exhale, press the low back and the belly button down into the ground. And now is when you can start to feel a little hitch in the breath, and then relax. If you want to keep those fingers there to make sure you're activating, you can. However, you may notice without even feeling for it that you're really activating those deep down muscles. So inhale. press that belly button and low back into the ground. Good. And try to do that without lifting the hips up. Activate, activate, activate. Good, and relax. Let's do 2 more. Good, 1 more. Awesome. This is the basis of our crunch. This is the basis of our plank, the basis of a hollow hold, squat, everything. Good. Okay, now let's really turn some stuff on here. So if you need a little bit more time with that movement, go ahead and take your time with those. I want you to really get the foundation first. Of course, you can always do the rest of the stuff with me, but come back to that foundational movement from time to time. I like to do that daily. Okay, so come on onto your back. Let me make sure I'm in camera. What am I doing? Look like a little like slug. Okay. So onto the ground, fix your hair. And now we're gonna bring our knees up into the air. So this is gonna be a reverse crunch. Now, a lot of times when I see a reverse crunch being done, I see people just kind of like throwing their body into the air and using that momentum to kind of get a little crunch movement. We're gonna try and generate all the force from our core muscles, and in order to activate these, we have to have access to this. So we're gonna think about pulling one vertebrae off the mat at a time. Think about bringing your hips off first, then the low back, and you're gonna kind of work your way up like a bike chain. And this movement is gonna be really, really small. If you start to use your arms to kind of throw yourself up, reset, cool it down, and just remember it's gonna be a really, really tiny movement. I would even put your arms in the air so that you're not tempted to use them. From here, we're just gonna curl up and then bring it back down. Curl up and bring it back down. For some of you, this may feel like just like a little twitch, and that's okay, because we're starting from the foundation. Curl up and bring it back down. And the idea is not to bring knees to chest, it's to bring tailbone up, straight off the ground. So that's why when you do your straight leg reverse crunches, you want to press your heels into the ceiling rather than behind you. But you can keep your knees bent here. If you'd rather keep your legs straight up in the air, that's fine too. And we're just gonna curl up and come back down. Let's try this 5 more times to really turn this core on. And think about what your spine is doing right now. Your spine is actually rounding, right? Your spine is rounding so that you can contract everything here. I just like use my hands because it's like really tempting to want to like push yourself off the ground, but try to resist. Curl and come back down. Curl, come back down. And I'm keeping this intentionally really small, set my expectations low for how my body is going to move, and just focus on the sensation of rounding through the spine and contracting those core muscles. Good. Bring those knees into the chest. If you need to rock back and forth to ease some tension here, go for it. Stretch out the legs. Now, you're probably feeling a little bit of activity here, so we're gonna build on that. We're gonna do a little rotational exercise. So instead of just rounding the spine, we're gonna round and then twist it. So, knees come back up. I want you to round through that spine like you're trying to do a reverse crunch, but this time, bring your arms out to the side, palms up to the ceiling, keep both shoulder blades on the ground, and we're gonna slowly try to bring our knees over to one side. Only come as far as you can with control and keeping both shoulder blades on the ground. And then as you come up, curl that spine, press the low back into the ground, get a good little reverse crunch, and then through the middle over to the other side. So taking really good care of our spine here, getting movement just through the low back, Notice the upper back and chest aren't moving at all. Only as far as you can go. If you fell over to one side and this comes off, you've gone a little too far. Curl back through the middle. Oh, this is quite a crunch. If you need to rest in the middle here before you go into your next one, go for it. But before you start coming over to one side, it can be really easy to just kind of like do a little windshield wiper. I want you to really think about curling that spine, pressing the low back into the ground, and then dropping over with control. Take your time. Let's do 3 more to each side. You might notice that you get a little bit deeper on one side than the other. And you also might notice as you do this, you might even out as you do a little bit more. Oh. The other reason we're going slow, and I've said this a million times, is because you want to be able to feel when something is going wrong. If something starts to feel weird and you're speeding through it, you might not notice. And then you don't get to address why that feels weird or prevent injury before it happens. So go really, really slow. And if you're like, ooh, my spine doesn't rotate very well when it's in this curled up position, maybe there's something going on back there that you need to address. Ooh, I'm like sweating just from doing this so slow. Ugh. All right, let's do 1 more to each side so that I can stop. See, you guys are lucky. I'm telling you to do these things. Nobody here is telling me to do anything. As far as you can, make this a good one. Ugh. Keep those shoulder blades down, palms up. Oh, good. Relax. Shake everything out. Starfish yourself. Shake out the knees. And let's come on up. Okay. Ooh, people are talking. Oh no, nobody's talking. It's just internet stuff. Sorry, I'm so bad at this. Okay. We're gonna come back over to all 4s. You didn't think you were gonna get out of this without some spinal segmentation, did you? Okay. So from all 4s, now we've done a couple times, we've done cat camels, where we very slowly arch the back and then round the back. We are going to do a cat camel bird dog. So that's just 4 different animals that I'm listing. Cat camel bird dog. So what that means is you've probably done a bird dog like in group exercise classes. And the key here is spinal stability. You want to strengthen the spine and not have anything move at all. What we're going to do today is we're going to do a bird dog with some spinal movement, but with some healthy, really helpful spinal movement. So the way you're going to do this is you're going to take a small inhale, start to arch that low back. Not the whole spine, just the low back. And you're just going to allow your belly to fill with air, let that spine arch, and then you're going to exhale, push into the low back, start to round the low back. Again, we're not rounding the whole spine, we're just pushing air right into the low back, trying to articulate some of these joints, some of these vertebrae back here. So you exhale, and then from here we're going to hold that exhale, and you're going to lift opposite arm and leg. And notice you may not get as much movement as you do when you're throwing things up in the air and using your spine to help you out. So again, we're going to inhale, drop the belly, fill it up. Exhale, pull the belly in, round the low back, round those vertebrae, separate them out, hold, and then lift opposite arm and leg, holding on to that little rounded low back position. Bring it back down. Good. Whew. So we're really getting our breath going with this, so make sure that you're keeping up with that. We're going to do 4 more on each side. Inhale, drop the low back. Exhale, round the low back and lift. Hopefully, generating that tension in the low back will also help you keep your balance. Inhale, arch. Exhale, pull into the low back and lift. 3 more each side on your own. Good. I think that was 3. I forgot to count, to be honest. All right, good. Kind of shake that out if you want to kind of wiggle that tail back and forth, get some rounding and some arching to kind of release some of the tension, but we should be feeling a lot of activity right through the middle of that core. All right, last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna work a little cobra here. So you're gonna come down onto your belly, and just remember that when we work our core, we're also talking about all the muscles in our low back that surround our vertebrae. So a lot of people get nervous about working their low back because they think strengthening it means they're gonna tweak it. But really we need those muscles to make sure they're strong enough to fire when they're supposed to. So for this one, we're gonna keep our gaze straight down the ground. I might have to look at you guys because I feel like I need to look at the camera to talk to it. I don't know. But you guys are gonna keep your gaze straight down. So your head will be in line with your spine, neck nice and neutral. Arms are gonna come out to the side, thumbs up to the ceiling. Feet are gonna stay down on the ground. And we're gonna lift the chest, squeezing the shoulder blades back and down, and then come back. So now we're contracting these muscles here, trying to bring them in the other direction and work some of the surrounding tissue. We're also working a lot of our lats and all the muscles surrounding our shoulder blades. And if these can work right, then these don't necessarily fire when they're not supposed to. So we're gonna go 5 here, lifting through the shoulder blades, trying to get that chest nice and high. 2 more. Good, nice job, awesome. Okay, we're gonna roll on over to our back one more time and finish with a nice little spinal twist that'll just feel really good. So straighten those legs out and bring one knee into your chest. From here, we're going to keep our palms up to the ceiling again, and we're gonna bring one knee over, getting a little twist through our low back as a stretch and to release some tension. You can straighten that leg out if that's more comfortable. The important thing here is that shoulder blades stay on the ground, palms stay up to the ceiling, and we just wring out the spine like a wet towel. Nice and slow, come back to center. Straighten that leg out. Bring that other leg into the chest. And come over. This might be the very first 20-minute mobility that I have stuck to exactly 20 minutes. You guys, this is an epic day for me. Notice if you hear any cracking or popping. Go nice and slow so you know what a good crack and a good pop feels like. Good. Back up to the top. Bring both those knees into your chest. Give yourself a little side-to-side rock and roll. And up. Awesome. Good job, guys. That was great. I feel very core intensive, or whatever it is that people say. Okay, if you have any questions, or if you want any additional exercises that work this kind of like spine, core mobility stuff, feel free to hit me up. I would love it if you would go subscribe to my YouTube page. I think most of you already have because you're all so nice, but I'm at like 75 now, and I have a week and a day to get 25 more subscribers. I'm very pumped about this. I'm really excited that I made this goal and then I told people, even though it's a little embarrassing, but that would be awesome. That is the best way that you can, you know, send some love my way, is just go onto YouTube, search Strength Palace with Addy, and just hit that subscribe button. And then you can check out all my other videos and see me being a weirdo on camera and stuff. Okay. Bye guys, see you later.